Hello. I appreciate everybody coming out today. I know this is our last one for today, I think, isn't it? Yes. And this is our golden treasure, Dr. Harold Underwood. I apologize for not being at the earlier ones. We had a meeting of, all the smart people, and then they bring me in up at Oak Ridge, so I was up there all morning. But Dr. Harold Underwood is our golden treasure this year. Now, generally I go through a little update of what the golden treasures is. You're all going to have to help me out. We've been doing this how many years now? 15 years. And last year, I guess, was the first time we started doing it here at the old courthouse, and we did it because of COVID, and started doing the taping of it, so they're available on a YouTube channel. So with that said, please share it with your friends and relatives that are out in the community that couldn't be with us today or out of state or wherever. So I appreciate y'all kind of waiting around for me. So Dr. Underwood, if you all like me, you can thank him. If you don't like me, you can blame him. I'm where I'm at today because of people like Dr. Harold Underwood. He was down at Rome State when I started attending Rome State, and we became good friends there. Now, I've just had an opportunity to read through some of your bio here, and you were born in Mississippi, but somebody pronounce that name for me.
Tishomingo.
Tishomingo, Mississippi. Is that close enough? On March the 17th, 1933. He grew up there, was a popular young man, as he was named Mr. Tishomingo, whatever, high school person. And after high school, he entered into the U.S. Air Force. And we want to say thank you for your service in our country. Prior to this, the end of the Korean War, Harold was an engineer specialist and was stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas for 2 years and in Japan for almost 2 years. After completing training in the Shepherd Air Force Base, he was asked to stay on as an instructor, and he told them he didn't know how to teach, but he was told that they could teach him everything he needed to know to then lay the foundation for your teaching career or your education career. He received a BS and a bachelor's degree at Mississippi State University in science education, his master's degree from University of Mississippi in education with a double major in math and biology. His doctoral was at Auburn University in educational administration. His doctoral program led the groundwork for his future in Roane County as it focused on the startup, development, and administration of community colleges. So after graduation, Dr. Underwood applied to work at the new community college, which was slated to be built in the East Tennessee community of Roane County. So he was one of 12 original employees known fondly as the Dirty Dozen. Is that what they called you all? So you were one of the 12 that really started the Rome State Community College. And it was, I guess, started in about 71. It was, if I'm not mistaken, was it over at Fairmont High School in South Harriman?
Elementary school.
At the elementary school, and then of course it was the Rome State Community College was built down on Patton Lane. It said that first of all you leased space from a church in Harriman that housed the administration offices, which were in a temporary trailer. A bus ran every 15 minutes between the locations to get students to their classes. You were selected Dean of Instruction in your second year at the college and served in that capacity under a number of titles. The first building of the permanent campus was completed in 1973. Several years prior to retirement, You were named the Vice President of Academic Affairs, the highest academic position at the college. Married to Martha Tester, how do you pronounce that? Tessiner, for 65 years until her passing in 2021. 4 children: Greg in Fayetteville, Tennessee, Roger, Greg and Abby, wife Abby, Roger and Teresa of Rockwood, Anita, Richmond, and a deceased son, Roger of Kingston. Lynn Loomis of Austin, Texas, and there are 10 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren located from coast to coast. Of course, Dr. Underwood has been active in the community in a number of ways throughout his tenure at Rome State, working there and working with businesses and industries over the years to meet the workforce need of the local and surrounding communities. Instrumental in studying those needs and working with the Tennessee Board of Regents and implementing new programs. The Kingston Lions Club has been the primary civic organization where he devoted his time, an active member of the Lions Club for 50 years, and has been active in all aspects, local and international level. The local club, of course, raises funds for seeing eye dog, glasses, and other community projects. Harold and Martha have also been faithfully and active in the First Baptist Church of Kingston since 1971, where he served as a trustee and an usher. He was selected for the Honor Air Flight to Washington, D.C. in 2018 as part of our, I guess, all of our World War II veterans and other veterans throughout other conflicts. His recreation interests include crappie, fishing, and I guess we have that in common too, but you also fly fish, golf, motorcycle riding. What kind of motorcycle did you have, Harold?
Well, my favorite was BMW.
A BMW, okay. An active reader and exercises daily. And it's been rumored that he's quite a cornhole player. So Dr. Underwood is, of course, truly a Rome treasure. He's had quite strong leadership both to the faculty, staff, and the student, which I was at Rome State. And he's impacted a number of lives, improving skills of students and workers and educators. Dr. Underwood is a person you can say has impacted a lot of lives, and mine was one of them. And Dr. Underwood, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you waited till I got here so I could be part of this presentation. And at this time, if anyone would like to say something else about Dr. Underwood, we appreciate your service to our community.
You know, I'll skip that.
We really appreciate your service to our country. And really, the big influence was at Rome State. And, you might have been a little older than me when I was down there when I was 18 or 19, but I really appreciate you. Now, Steve Bates is here, and Steve is never with a loss of words. So Steve, come up here and share something. I know I see you and Harold out every now and then. He's still
stand here. Can I stand over
You can stand over here. He's still mentoring you, I know, like he mentored me. So
you bet he is. My wife and I relocated here in November of 1997. I'm from West Virginia. She's from Maryville, and we met in service years ago. And it was just too cold in West Virginia, so we decided a company had an opening here, so we decided to take it and move down. And one of the first people that I ran into was Harold. And I ran into him because I was asked to go over and speak to the Lions Club about investment opportunities, what the market strategy should look like, and how things were going to go in the coming months. And afterwards, Harold and his trusty sidekick, David Puckett, cornered me and and shanghaied me into the Lions Club. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because he did spend 50 years as a Kingston Lion, and I have myself just got my 20-year pin, thanks to Harold. I want to stop for just a moment and speak about what we do specifically, because I don't think everybody knows. They see us out on the street corner with buckets in their hand collecting money. Back in the day, I guess they sold brooms and light bulbs. But that money that we raise doesn't all stay here. Some of it goes to support the whole district, the eastern end of Tennessee, and a lot of it goes international. And we have had the privilege of serving families with leader dogs, glasses. I happen to work in a jail ministry. We even provide glasses to the guys that don't have glasses, so that they can read the workbooks and the Bible over there. And this guy was one of the guys that spearheaded that organization here in Kingston. On a personal note, he and I became friends, and he's been a faithful, loyal customer of mine for the same 24-year period. And Harold is also a mentor in just ways of life. We're both veterans. I was in a different branch. We fight about that quite a bit. Jarhead. And, but I never, in the Air Force, I should be back up. In the Marine Corps, the battle cry is URO. In the Air Force, it's 4. Because that's all they do is play golf. So I knew when I met this Air Force veteran, here's my chance to learn how to play that fun and wonderful game. Because I didn't have time to do that in the Marine Corps. So he took me out there and he taught me down at Southwest Point. We played probably once a week. And incidentally, he talked about his physical abilities and keeping himself in shape. He played every single day, 18 holes, and pulled a card. Didn't ride anywhere. That was part of his exercise. And when that stopped, I'd see him walking up and down the trail in front of where they were living when they lived over at the hill over here. But he taught me a lot about playing golf. And when I first started, I couldn't even hold a club right. But after about 3 or 4 years, we played a game over there, and I was actually 4 over in the back 9. That's what kind of improvement. I hit 6 balls into the woods, and I came out with 10. And I give Harold all the credit for that. One last thing I'd like to say. Somebody, I guess you mentioned, Ron, that he was known as a member of the Dirty Dozen. That legacy is being carried on in his elder years, because the guy I mentioned earlier, Dr. David Puckett, and Harold and I are a member of the A-Team. And whenever there's a mission and we need a helicopter pilot to carry us to whatever restaurant in Roane County we want to go to, we go break Murdoch out of the insane asylum. And we had broken you out of there a couple times, haven't we?
Yeah.
I've seen him out a few times.
Harold is one of the dearest friends I have, and I thank you for your friendship, your mentorship, and I wish you all the best in the coming years.
Thank you,
Harold, would you like to say a few words?
Not really. Not a
Well, does any of the family members like to share a good old story or a good news story, or tell a story on him?
I will tell one story. Motorcycling was one of my activities, but I had a few other things that interested me. One of them was canoeing and running the whitewater rivers we have in this area. So Roger was about 15, I guess, and Greg was about 12 years old. We had 2 canoes that we'd made. We went up to Big South Fork. I'm sure you've all heard of it. Me I've been there. It's a beautiful area. And we went up and scouted the place out, and we decided we could run the whitewater in our canoes. And we put the canoes in where it was eddy. Looked like it was going to be a breeze, but before we got to where we took them out, we thought we were going to be wiped out. We got home, I think it was Greg, told his mother, and said, Dad tried to kill us. So that's my story for you.
So we will probably display your name on a plaque at the courthouse. Oh, right there it is. Thank you. And then this is yours. It basically says, in recognition of your many contributions to Roane County, we hereby designate you as a golden treasure this 6th day. Well, it says 6th day of December 2021, but today we appreciate you having. Here's another certificate. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate it. If families would like to come up, we're still recording here, and Amber can get a picture of the sons and daughter-in-laws, cousins, extended family.
The actual children first. We in here.
Mine said how it could be.
And it was a camping trip. They got all their camping.
Y'all good? Thank you all. Thank you all for sharing your
Ron.
news today.
Ron, we'll get a picture of you and Harold.
Yeah, I didn't do anything besides like try to read stuff. You know, you're the one who did everything. Look up here, Carol. We got one of like a picture.
Good job.
Thank you.